Our afternoon will be divided into two parts, probably. The first part will be that Stephan and me, mainly Stephan, will make a constellation work, and we said we want to see how is it if we as global citizens don't wait until some institution does something, but that we contribute what we can contribute. And one that we can contribute is the one of global witnessing. And I think global witnessing is not just let's see what's happening, and I have seen it as well, but that's why I want to talk about it. I will introduce it and then you can talk, Stephan. So we are what William Ury calls the third side. We are the ones the world basically, that watches and witnesses world events. But witnessing doesn't mean a dissociated witnessing, but I believe that the restoration of the world, as it's written in the scriptures, so this collective change in consciousness means that the distortion in the relationship is healed, and then past, future and present, the inside and the outside unite, and there's a new form of consciousness. But karma is what splits us into future and past, outside and inside, and lets us experience this as separated. And if I, as a human being, witness global events, I can be aware that the information, so we might know about North Korea, so in the beginning we will not give a lot of information, maybe later on, because not every one of us might be so educated sociologically and geographically that we know for all countries in the world what happened, but that's not what it is about. It's more about that we let a conscious dynamic express itself, but it's about that we have this social global witnessing platform as a representation, and we will work in the second part in smaller groups how we digest this process here. And digest means that in myself I learn to picture what is happening, and that's where it starts. That's why witnessing is not just I'm sitting here and I also saw something, but witnessing in this case means that I'm an active part of what I see. So that means in mysticism we say that everyone is a cosmic address in the whole, and the universal expresses in everyone singularly, but every single one is also composing, co-creating the universal. And I could do that without constellation, but we do that with the constellation because it's more evident in the space. But maybe if you read news about Donald Trump or Kim, America, nuclear weapons, North America, China, and when that's a systemic thing, it's something the system has. So that means if there's many layers of trauma in North Korea or between North Korea and the different players that we will present, like Japan, the United States. But so when we see if I let myself feel North Korea, for example, I might not feel anything, and it could have two different reasons. Trauma areas in myself, or it could be a transferal, like when we work with clients. So if there's a collectively traumatized culture, it means this culture has a trauma transmission. So also when there's a terror attack in Jerusalem and people hear from that, the first thing that I might hear from that is the shock that happens there. So first of all, I get the transmission of the event if I listen to my feelings, not to what I'm processing mentally. And something arises in me. And as long as we don't really fully see everything that's happening, we are part of that karma. Then the ball is stuck. But at least, if I'm at least conscious that I can't depict it completely, then I'm at least aware. If I feel I'm dissociated when I think about North Korea, that's already the first step, because I'm already aware of that. And then my mind might say, you should feel something. But no, we just want to have the image that is really happening inside. And like Otto Scharmer from Theory U talks about, and he experimented with social sculptures, so constellations that he's calling social sculpturing, and we had a very good talk about that. And I believe if we connect that we are the resonance body and the constellation is the guitar string. We are the resonance body and what we see is the string of the guitar. We need each other that we can make music. Yeah. Guitar string. Ding dong. So that means we need us so we can create music. And therefore, and afterwards I will hand it over to you. What we can do in the first half an hour or 45 minutes, we will watch and we take this constellation as an entry gate to relate to the whole situation. Like in the Pocket Project we say, the world is our client. We only have one client. That's the whole system. That means what we see is a representation of something that is a process in the system, and we want to look if we become a bigger perspective where all of us are sitting with the whole dissociation, the whole consciousness, the connectedness, the not connectedness, so that we do a monitoring, that you continuously check how am I feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and do I have a connection or not to what is happening. That's basically all. So we are like scanners that scan all these elements while we are watching. Of course you have thoughts, of course you notice something, of course something might be transferred to you, but that you more and more check, do I have a physical sense of perception or don't I feel my body? Have I emotional response, empathy, no empathy? Do I want to go out? Also if there's resistances suddenly, I'm not interested in that at all, it doesn't matter, it's nonsense, or whatever it is, 360 degrees. But to again and again be aware of that. So we create that resonance body, and Stephan will lead us through this constellation, and we will check what we experience, and afterwards we'll digest that in the second round. Is that clear so far? So basically it's like a presencing, and you will again and again scan these things. What's in my body, feelings, thoughts, connected or not connected. How present am I? What's happening in me? And resistances, I don't care, I'm dull, I don't feel anything, I'm dissociated, I'm gone, I'm just thinking about breakfast tomorrow. No matter what it is, but let this be part of the process. We all came here, so in mysticism we say energy follows the intention. And our intention is that we are here in this space. And if after 5 minutes we find out I'm physically here, but the rest of me already left, and the tea tent, then energy doesn't follow the intention. I didn't set another intention. I didn't go to the tea tent. Why can't I be present here where I am? Is that clear so far? So if I start to drift off, like in the morning in the exercise, if I want to feel my knees, but I find myself thinking about work, then energy doesn't follow intention. Is that clear? I want to feel my knee, but after 2 seconds I think about something else. So that's not a mistake, but that is the process. That means if I sit someone with me, someone comes to a session to me and says, Thomas, I don't know, in my relationship, after 1 minute I'm sitting in front of you, but I think about different things. Well then, that's important that I notice that. And it's also part of the process. It doesn't mean I'm not concentrated. The important thing is, in my opinion, I'm not concentrated. I reflect something. One could say I'm not concentrated, but that's the reflection. We're not unconcentrated if we're not here anymore. Something is picturing and showing itself. I don't need to know what it is, but I need to know that it is. So from now on, everything is part of it. And here, Stephan will say what is here.
Yes. First, hello to everybody who doesn't know me yet. I would like to say thank you for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward for the steps which we're gonna make together. And before we go to the process of the Constellation, I want to say a few things of what you said before, what I wanted to point out as well. It's important to me to say it from my perspective, because if you are part of the Constellation as well, then you're not observers, but you're representatives as well, as Thomas said. And if I'm a representative, then it's useful to first go to a kind of 0 point. So those who know Constellation well and have many ideas about Constellation, please let all your concept of what's going to come go. And openly observe and become a representative of the world or group who does social witnessing. But that's kind of the basic principle. I would like to use the opportunity to in general say thank you, because the years together with you, I understood so much in constellation work of things which I've been doing but I didn't have words. And it helped me to continue my way, made me stronger, and that's very important for the method of the constellation work itself. And what I always say in my groups is that in constellation work, the constellation is not the main thing. The main thing is what happens in the client. And I'm very much interested in the sustainability of constellation work, because the problem is you can place or display everything. There will always be a result, something appearing, but the question is, does it lead anywhere? Bert Helving has always said it's not about truth, but about reality, which has consequences. That's how I see us in our process. Well, we come together with a wish, we have a shared wish, and we use the tool of constellation work for us to be brought forward or onward in our process. So the process is the thing, not so much the constellation. And if we are happy that through the constellation something's going to happen, what we, as a tendency in each constellation, that is, that the response to the questions which we start with in the constellation shows that it's more complex than we thought, and that, so to say, we are with more things connected than we thought at the beginning. And that's ultimately the healing movement, because it's an expansion, an opening of ourselves by observing the event. That's one of the principles in social witnessing, isn't it? Insofar, the possibility to gain information through constellation is really, how does this information land in my container? And that's what it's all about. Okay, and good. We had kind of pre-discussions which elements we're going to place. And I think we just begin with the 6 elements which we talked about. My suggestion is, if it's still okay for you, you choose the representatives, Thomas. It doesn't matter if somebody has a resistance to do it, then we're going to choose somebody else. But those who are going to be chosen, it goes outside, it's part of the live stream. So if you don't want to be part of the live stream, then you would say, I don't want to be a representative. And together with Wilhelm Ury, we discussed which elements do we need in order to represent the basic conflict which is spiraling around North Korea. In order to represent that in a meaningful way, we came to 6 countries which we want to represent first. That's North Korea, South Korea, Russia, USA, China, Japan. My suggestion is that we include Germany from the very beginning as well, once, because we are in Germany right now, and secondly, because the Second World War kind of contributed to the overall conflict, and Germany had a key role in that. Insofar, I would like to include that, so we're going to start with 7 representatives. Do you agree? Do you want to choose them? Shall they? You just choose those who you want to have.
That's great. That's like in a candy store. And do I have to say who is who?
Yes, that's helpful. Yes. We thought if you want to do it covered, but in the format we are, it's okay to work openly.
All right. And that you know, if I come to you and you don't want to do this, that you easily say no. Yeah.
Of course, yes. Yeah. That's what we assumed and said.
Great. All right. I want to have you, if you want to do it. For North Korea. All right, and then you can come. Yeah,
you
back there. Yes.
Just come forward first, and then you're going to choose your place later.
I call you South Korea. For now.
It didn't start yet. Just all stand aside. There will be more. Okay, for what did you choose him for? Okay, the US.
Do you want to come? For Russia?
Wait. Stay where you enter the circle. Else it's going to start immediately, and that's not what I want. Yes, that's how it is.
Do you want to come? You who are standing? Yes. For Japan. And the lady in green? If you want. For China. And we need one for Germany. Do you want to come? Yes. Yes, the gentleman back there. Great. And you?
Okay.
For Germany.
Okay. Exactly, I'm going to say it again. North Korea, Germany, South Korea, USA, Russia, China and Japan. Before you look where you want to stand, I wanted those of you who sit in the outer circle that you quickly look, that we take some moment, how am I right now present? Because the reactions which appear as we choose, they show a certain charge and a certain identification. It means everybody who reacted know that they are not at the point zero. So I would like to wind back a bit, that you have the space, that they are really free to engage into the process and can look, where do I need to stand? Constellation work means that they have the possibility to with representative around the question, allow a system of relationship to arise. And the idea is that through this relationship system I get information which was not visible before. Okay, so insofar I leave it to all of you, this free space. You just engage with the positions you're going to have, the country, and then you look. The question will be, where in this relationship system is my place? It's not where do I feel best, the question is where do I need to stand in this system. It is well possible that the system doesn't come to rest, that always somebody will move again and again. At one point I might say stop. You simply allow your body to be led with the question, where in this relationship system is my space, in this relationship system of the countries. And then you can see where you land, and we're going to observe how we move on.
Mikro.
Mikro. I say it again. North Korea. Do I need to know? No, you do not need to know. Somehow you don't need, but more people don't know. That's why I say it again. North Korea, Germany, South Korea, USA, Russia, China, Japan. These are historical backgrounds which you don't need to know. Simply trust your body that you land where you belong to. It is possible that there is not just one place where you can stand. We're going to see that in the process. Okay. Okay, there's an impression that is possible for everybody okay right now? Or are there strong impulses around still? Okay, well. Okay, so we can look how the individual people are doing at their locations. Okay. Are you doing as representative of North Korea?
My heart is beating, and I feel a little surrounded, but still stable. Yes.
Are there any special relationships? Do you feel connected with those out here?
No.
Okay. How is the representative of South Korea doing?
I'm quite excited, and I found it interesting when I was standing the other way round. I was more excited, and since I turned away from it, I feel a bit more relaxed. And I feel connected to North Korea. That triggers me in some way. And the others, I don't have on the radar.
Okay. Well, United States.
Excited. I'm a little confused because this place, as if it's my own, as if it's my right.
As if it would yours.
I had to be here.
You need to be here.
I don't know who's standing next to me. I had to go here. And a feeling of power, here I am.
Well, China.
I'm annoyed because somebody is standing next to me. And this is my place. And I have her in my view.
You see North Korea.
North Korea in my view, and that's very clear. For the others, I have to turn around to even notice them.
You moved a bit, didn't you? Oh no, sorry, you. Russia.
I feel relatively safe, and my attention is mostly on North Korea. The others are quite irrelevant. My focus is mostly on North Korea at the moment. Apart from that, I feel very safe.
Okay. Representative of Japan.
I didn't notice who's who. I have the feeling I do my own thing. I don't really want to have too much to do with it. And I look more on...
Who are they?
On those.
I help you. Who? Those two. That is Russia and Germany.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Representative of Germany.
I feel a little tight around the heart because I see those two countries that are
you see the separate countries.
We also have experienced that. In tendency, I feel closer to Russia, but I have to keep the USA in my view. That's very important. The most significant is the tightness. because I see those two that actually belong together.
Okay, good. Okay. We can be in dialogue as well if you have something.
Is my microphone on? Yes. So, as a reminder for the audience, for the third side, to check what is showing up in you already now. That we check that for once. Do I have the feeling I can experience that physically? Can I emotionally experience it? How do I feel emotionally? Am I relaxed or tense? What emotional quality is there? Is my brain, what's happening there? And do I feel connected if I'm sitting here and witness that? Or do I feel separated, inside or outside? Separate of what's happening here? Yes.
Okay. Good. I'm going to say something maybe at that moment how as attendance work. If somebody feels an impulse to move, please do so. If it's going to be too quick for me, I'm going to slow you down. But if there are impulses, after you have these informations of the others, should there be any impulses that you want to move somewhere else, then you can do it on your own initiative. Then we notice what's happening, but if it gets too fast, I tell you. Then I would slow it down. It doesn't look like right now. Or does somebody want to change? You did a bit.
Yes, I want to see a little bit more, notice a little bit more of the world.
Okay. There's not much movement. I believe it makes sense that we make the conflict a bit more visible. And I would ask you, Thomas, choose somebody for the nuclear program of North Korea. Yes, that's what heats up the whole story. It's already obvious where there are conflicts and where there are loyalties. You can see that. You can always learn something if you take such a role. And you look, you all others stay standing. If a new representative comes in and you look, where is your place in this system? You're standing for the North Korean nuclear program. Then we look what happens for those who are standing here already. Okay. Don't go too much into movement. For who is there a change? South Korea.
I have a panic, fear. I want to get away. But even without you saying it, I can't get away, but I want to get away. I had the panic already before she was standing here. Even when you mentioned that she will come, something came up in me.
Okay. Japan.
I'm also more tense. And I stared at her and turned more in that direction, physical tension.
It means your focus moves from here more away to there. Russia.
I feel a readiness, an energy. I'm ready.
What does that mean? Ready for what?
Ready to react.
That means?
When there is an atomic war, to match forces and to succeed.
I ask here first. North Korea. I noticed beforehand that the US made me very strong. The US made me strong.
And
that the atomic program is not standing at the right
place for
location.
Me. It is between us and it doesn't belong there, in my opinion.
You can move afterward if you feel to do so, but I'm going to ask the representative of Germany first. Something changed for you.
Yeah, noticeably. My heart is no longer important.
My heart is not important anymore. Can you say more to that? Because you didn't mention it before. You thought about tightness. What is a heart?
Yes,
tightness?
I said that. That is no longer important. I still feel it a little bit, but I feel strongly a danger by the atomic program. My knees are weak. I have a tendency to hide behind the USA. I feel like move more in that direction, but I would like to take Russia with me.
I would like to take Russia with me. I have a tendency to hide behind the US. Okay, maybe that's not a symptom. You wanted to say something?
It's an annoying, disturbing factor. It's not a danger for me, but it's just annoying, disturbing. But I have a tendency to turn more in that direction, but it's kind of, I want to counteract it a little bit more.
The what?
The program, this disturbance.
Okay. China.
My focus is now on the atomic program. North Korea is gone in the background. It is not really a danger, a threat, but it's a position. I could kick it with my foot, but on the other hand, it's like a child's play.
Okay.
I could explode, and I'm so afraid. I'm so nervous, and they're just talking. They're not doing anything. I'm completely.
Yes.
I can't do anything. I have to stand here, and it's really disturbing.
How are you doing?
I feel strong here. I feel supported in my back. I feel strong. I feel between two strong fronts.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, the process is slowed down a bit. I notice the feelings you're having and where they might come from. Okay. There are a few tendencies for change. I would like to give them space. If somebody of you wants to move or change, please do so. Okay. Is there an important feedback by anybody? Somebody feels like I cannot continue without saying anything right now.
I have a strong tingling in the hands.
Okay. North Korea.
I notice that it becomes weak, and then I also become weak. I have a feeling that it does its own thing, and I want to have the atomic weapons in my power, but I'm seeking the clear confrontation with the USA. It's a total threat. She's standing almost on my feet, and she's physically close. And this is really too much, too close. I was standing here, and I want to stand up for this. That's not on. That's not possible.
Now we have the conflict pretty visible. You want to say something?
I had the feeling to follow North Korea, to have to follow. But I'm back where I was standing before. I'm a little bit more calm. I have a feeling that the countries don't notice me. My hands are completely numb. I'm totally unable to act. I have to say something more. I feel from the beginning a great love for South Korea in my heart, but I don't have time. I'm constantly busy with something else.
That's pretty obvious. That is something lacking what separated North and South Korea. It's obvious that this element is kind of missing.
May I shortly? And again, let us all check how we as the world, as the witnessing power, as connected witnessing power, are here. And again do that scan. How is it without changing it? Is my body tense? If yes, where? How am I feeling emotionally? Is there pressure? Am I open? Can I say which emotion is present? What is happening in my brain? And do I feel connected to what I see in me? So this inside-outside connection, is this present connected or is it disconnected, the inside and the outside? Do I feel either distanced outside or in the inside lost me? Am I present or not present? And do I feel that I take part in this, or do I feel I want to go away?
How are you doing?
Since the atomic program is there, I am much more focused to notice what's going on there. The attention is away from those. I'm much more there. I am more tense and much more awake.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting is the split, the separation of North and South Korea. It happened by the capitulation of Japan in the Second World War. The interesting part is, for the capitulation of Japan was essential, throwing a nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was a crucial event. And the conflict is again in a nuclear program. That's a hint I'm giving, or an idea. And it was obvious at the very beginning in the Constellation that the representative of Japan, he wasn't really connected to those. He only was connected to Germany and Russia. The rest he didn't see. In that way you can see that the trauma, what Japan experienced, on one side has an effect, on the other side is not put in connection. Therefore I think it makes sense to have a representative for that. I'm not totally clear yet myself. Also for the trauma of Japan. That's how I would name it. I wouldn't connect it to the two nuclear bombs in Japan. I would extend the scope a bit and call it the trauma of Japan. In connection with two nuclear bombs.
Yes. Do you want to do this? Well, with the black cloth? With the black shirt? No. No? No? Okay. The lady behind? Do you want to do this? No, no, no. You in white? Yes? Ja, du kannst dein Übersetzungsgerät behalten.
Where is your place in this system? Where do you need to stand? The trauma of Japan after Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Japan is this one. And you can take your time to find your position. You can try different positions and then you see where you feel is the most appropriate one. This one? Okay, thanks.
It's hard to settle anywhere.
Yeah.
But hardest close to Japan.
harder to be close to Japan? Okay. Oh, thank you.
Also sie hat gesagt, es ist schwer, sich irgendwo niederzulassen. Aber es
To settle somewhere, but it's especially difficult to be close to Japan.
One thing which I found interesting
is that she checked a position behind Germany, for example. Whatever that means. Okay. Hat sich was hat...
Did anything change for anybody?
It weakens me totally. I can't keep up the confrontation with the USA as much. My left side is trembling. The right side tries to be strong. And I notice that it keeps changing. Sometimes I can be very straight, and then I feel very weak. It's not a static state.
Sonst noch jemand? Russia?
I noticed when trauma came in, I felt very hot. I felt excited and insecure.
Can you say more to this insecurity?
I believe it's a feeling that I am partly guilty.
Okay.
I thought all the time, trauma, come to me. Come to me. I want to have you here. And when she was standing over there, I thought, well, that's not right. She's so far away. I felt great sadness, as if I had to go through all this to get to my trauma. Feels like a huge mountain that is in front of me.
Mm.
It's really a troublemaker, a factor of trouble. Since the trauma is there, I have to look, where is it? It makes me dissatisfied to be here. I can see it from the corner of my eye, but it makes me very restless.
I notice now the notion trauma appears, and I named it like that as well. And I see the many dead people. That's what I want to bring in. That's clear. You wanted to say something?
I have really a strong support in my back, but I feel very uncomfortable here. I feel I could explode any moment. My hands and my head feel painful, waves of pain, and it's very hard to breathe at the moment.
Okay, good. I don't know if anybody wants to move. If you want to, please do so. Say, please.
I was just sensing I don't notice the other countries. Not at all. Even when I look at them, not at all. I'm only interested in USA, the trauma or the dead people, and the atomic weapons. With China, I'm not so sure. I sometimes check, but if she's in the right place, then it's okay. But the others, I'm not interested in a lot. I feel immediately weakened in my strength, but somehow at home. I can breathe again. I feel like embraced, but I no longer have this explosive power. I feel good when I have her under control, when I can hold her.
Your turn.
I noticed earlier I feel persecuted by Germany. And I notice that my attention is very much on me, but Germany is a disturbing factor, and it's always present in me. And I'm always trying to escape from Germany. I don't want Germany to be so near.
Yes.
I wanted to be near Korea, but I somehow turned now that I'm no longer looking at North Korea. I just look at what happens. Even though I'm still near to North Korea, I lose contact a little bit. Since it went away, I feel much stronger in this position. But when the trauma came and appeared in front of me, I felt very sad. I saw this millions of people that died from the bomb, and that I was through that responsible on the splitting of Korea. So the strength, I still feel the strength, but the vulnerability and wanting to look, there's something that has to be looked at, that something has to be done about.
Oh, I didn't have you yet. Sorry.
I want to say, most of all, something about the trauma. When she was following me, directly behind me, I felt very comfortable. When she left me again, I felt uncomfortable. And now I have a feeling that she is my lover. Such a feeling. As trauma,
especially to North Korea, but also the USA. I felt that I wanted to turn China towards me, but I felt a power to be seen and heard by the whole world, in fact, or all that are standing here today.
Exakt. Genau. You keep saying the inner architecture follows the outer. There was something like a feeling in myself that if that comes into the center, that the two can come together. I don't know what the impulse of you two were, why it happened. Anything to say?
The first impulse was didn't look at the USA anymore. I had to change my position a little bit. And when there was talking, I noticed I wanted to get closer to South Korea. When the trauma came in, first I was tense, but then I realized the fear went away because the trauma is now visible. That it was seen.
I think I want to leave it like that, except for you. Is there any question? But my feeling is, from the energy of the process, we reached a peak.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe we need to briefly.
First of all, feel how we feel right now when there is such a peak, that you check for yourself, how am I feeling right now physically? Is my body wide, tense, energized, empty? How am I feeling emotionally? Could I express which emotion is present in me, or am I dull? How's my mind? And how is it about inside, outside? Is this connected? Am I connected to what is happening? Am I connected to myself, or is there a split? Do I feel distant, either with the outside, and it's difficult for me to concentrate on that, or that it's difficult to say, how am I feeling, how am I doing? And how present I am with the process. All right. You wanted something else?
Yes, I would like. If we leave it like that, then something might still be stuck for one of you. That's important for me, that you can leave that like you. If there's anything you want to say now, which you want to leave in the center of the room, then that's an opportunity. If there's anything where you feel like, that's what I like to leave here before I move out, because I don't want to take it out of the circle.
I am very happy that the trauma is there and visible for the others. I was able to give away the responsibility, but also there's some
Towards?
anger and resentment towards that side, not towards the trauma.
Interesting, isn't it? Yes.
I notice that especially when it was changed, there's compassion, sadness, and a kind of surrender, giving up.
To turn to face Japan. I couldn't leave without being seen again.
That maybe sounds pathetic, but at the moment when she had physical contact, wideness, space opened in me, it feels like I'm whole again. It sounds pathetic, but it really felt like that. A joy, especially that she came towards me. And I had, for the first time, an interest looking at the other countries. Nice feeling to be interested. I feel here very weakened. I don't have any substance without North Korea. I have to follow her, otherwise I have no reason to be here. But here I want to leave this responsibility here. I feel insecure whether I haven't gone a step too far from the position that I left, and a little bit annoyance, so under the ground, little grumbling. I noticed that me as USA is not the only country that should take care of that. This process, forgiveness, that dissolved something for me, because there's all the others and connection with all the others who are also taking care of it.
Okay, well, that's kind of what I can contribute to our process here. And for me, the learning in the whole thing is what happens if that finds its place in the context. That's a final idea. And then we need to see how things move on. Okay. Okay, then I say thank you to all of you. You can leave your role and return. Precisely. Great.
I will let you talk right after. If you have something to write, you can write down what's in you right now. If you don't have something to write, just remember, just make a screenshot of the moment. How is it now? Body, emotions, inner process. That you just make a short note of what's important to you. My body, my feelings, my thoughts, what's happening, my process, also my connectedness. Am I emotionally involved, distant, really sucked in to the process? How am I? Also, am I overwhelmed with the whole? Am I looking to the front with my body, or am I inside, in me, am I turned away a bit? Do I look? Do I face it, or am I drawn out of myself or turned away? If you want, you could also make a short drawing of the inner sculpture in you. If your inner world was a sculpture, how would it look like? Is it wide, tight, short, long, diffuse? And also, if you notice what you're feeling, if you're stopping what you're feeling, or may it move? Is it allowed to move? And at the same time, are there intuitions in you? Something that is emerging spontaneously? Or do you notice that your intuitive, creative side is dimmed down? Do you have many thoughts about it? Is there a lively creative process right now? Or would you say the creative process is more dull or tired? How is that? And this also involves, do I feel energized? Would I say my chi, my fountain of chi is like this? Or is the water of my chi a little bit like so? Yes. Is there a fountain of chi inside me? Do I feel lively and creative involved, or more tired on the level of my life energy is less? Who of you has the feeling that the level of life energy is more down, it's more low? Rather low? All right. And one more thing, is there something you want to say about this? And we don't say it all at the same time, but maybe you can make some notes where it's like really fresh that you write down. Is there something that I want to say about it? Or am I silent or silenced? Or it could be that I don't know what I want to say about it. I'm silent, I'm blank, empty. You don't need to say it, write it down or remember it. What do I want to say to that? Or is there something I can contribute? Like first say, and then also, is there something I can contribute? Do I feel paralyzed to contribute? Do I feel like I don't know anything? Do I don't even think about contributing? Am I surprised? What? To contribute? And to not judge it, but see it as symptoms of the process. It's like to have a creative idea. Anyone? Somebody will have to have an idea about this. Am I this? One could say, well, yes, great, I saw it. Well, someone needs to do something. But who is this someone? I ask these questions to you, for you, and afterwards there will be time to talk. And then there's also the question, do I have a future? Do I have a future? You, now in you. How are you feeling? Do I have a future? Or in other words, do I have a possibility in which I can grow into? Or do I rather feel I have no future? I don't know. Yes. Do you want to say something?
No. You kind of hinted at it. I want to say one phrase. Effect is what we make out of it. Seen from that perspective, what we make from that, that's essential. But you said it in other words already. That the key is the inner process and the relationship to the experience. And in that way, that's how I see my contribution. I don't know where it's going to lead, what's going to result. My attitude is I make myself available. In that way. Apart from that, I'm curious what you're going to make from it and what we together make from it. And what's going to happen from that side.
And you said one important thing. Do I want to have a relation to that? Do I want to have a relation to this? Because the world situation has shown itself in ourselves. So that means we are a hologram after big hologram. So this world has been shown in us, but do I want to have a relation to this? Do I feel like I don't want to have a relationship to this? Or do I want to have a relationship? And not I should have a relation, it would be great spiritually and otherwise, but just if I ask this question to you, what arises? Do I want to have a relation to this? Or would I rather turn away inside? How am I feeling? How am I feeling right now to want to turn away from this? Do you want?
I don't know if you want to do a break or if you want to move on straight. No break. Good. Because as I would have said in the break, don't talk about it. So fine. Then I put the mic aside. Thank you.
Well, maybe, but you still keep sitting here if there's later questions. But before we do that, I would like to see that we sit with it first. And we say, okay, I experienced this, and I give myself a moment to digest this, just the way it is. I leave it. I relax into it. And listen to it. Because I am nothing that is static or something fixed, meets something fixed. But we, right now, poured something like paint into the river. We poured paint into the river, and our intelligence is the river. Every one of us is a movement. And I just listen how my intelligence, or the intelligence that is acting through me, the bigger intelligence that is also acting through me deals with that question. That means in us something is acting, and it also acts in our intelligence and in a higher intelligence. And that we take this digestion process, this learning process. We've said that the mystic says that we take a string of light and weave it into the world and put it and take it back and weave it into our core. We go out into the world and construct the world and depict the world in us. It becomes again part of us. We do this right now. I experience something. I take it to me. I let it sink in myself. I weave it also into my experience. And then again a movement emerges out of me, the pendulum of inside and outside. Experience, digestion, and oftentimes in our life we have very little time to digest. That means we have little time to let the processes really run through, then they can get stuck. And also the feeling that I might feel overwhelmed or even paralyzed. Maybe something comes to my mind about this, or is there an impulse for action or an inner impulse? That also this I take as a symptom of the process. Not that something is wrong, but just that there is something. Very good. And then I would like that we take a look around and we look at the world. We look at the global resonance body. If now we would use the app and we would see it on the screen, what would we see? What's your impression of the group energy right now? Are we all alive? Happy? Dancing? Are we angry? Afraid? Turned off? Turned on? Tired? Are we in a position to act? Are we united? Are we fragmented? Would you want to start a company with this group? Right now, not in general, but right now. If you would see this group for the first time, do you have the feeling you meet creative, motivated people that really want to do something in the world? Or what is your feeling? And as I said, It's not about how it is, but I really want us to notice the state in which we are as global witnesses, because that means something. It doesn't just mean that we all drank not enough coffee. Good. So then, before we say something in the group, I want to say a few more things. I want that with two people next to you, a triad, that we meet in triads, and that everybody has 5 minutes to express how are you feeling right now, how are you doing, what did you experience.
To say that we are still in the role of the third side or the global social witnessing, not to forget that. We will let go of it before we finish the session. But let's just 5 minutes each share whatever you feel, what's present, maybe these 3 steps in you, and share what you feel, what you think, how you feel energetically now, and how you felt connected to the situation. And also insights if they come as you speak.